in between. Welcome to the Cyprus Short Film Day 2019. A day of screenings, guest filmmakers, and plenty of Prosecco. But first, to introduce this beautiful day, please welcome His Excellency the Cyprus High Commissioner, Mr. Andreas Kavouris, and Marios Psaras.
Good evening, everyone. I don't know, can you hear me? Good. Kalispera, good evening. Welcome to the fourth installment of the Cyprus Short Film Day. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on stage His Excellency, the Cyprus High Commissioner, Mr. Andreas Kavouris.
Good evening. Dear friends and participants, it gives me great pleasure to be with you this evening at the Mayfair Hotel for the fourth annual film festival, Cyprus Short Film Day. CFSD, as it is otherwise known, is the official festival of Cypriot short film in London, organised by the Cultural Section of the Cyprus High Commission and sponsored by the Cultural Services of the Ministry of Education, Culture, Sports and Youth of Cyprus. It is a fact that short film is no longer the underappreciated offspring of the film industry. Considering the massive developments in digital technology, new horizons have opened to anyone who wants to express themselves through the power of the moving image. For creatives, short film is one of the most accessible means of artistic expression through which they can communicate their vision, express their opinion, inspire and be inspired, even under difficult conditions and with limited or no funds. Clearly, the distribution of short film operates on a different level than that of the traditional feature film. Theatrical release is much scarcer, and thus film festivals become the primary venue and vista for their exhibition on the big screen before they ultimately find their way onto online platforms. In this respect, the Cyprus Short Film Day offers the opportunity to the London audience to enjoy on the big screen the latest and most successful examples of contemporary short film produced by Cypriot filmmakers, including UK-born Cypriots. At the same time, it provides a valuable platform for filmmakers and other creatives, critics, academics, and cinephiles for networking and exchange of ideas. I am particularly pleased to be able to welcome our filmmakers who have travelled from Cyprus especially for the event, Mirsini Aristidou and Alexandra Matteo, as well as our UK-based Cypriot filmmakers who are with us today, Anthony Pedrou, Alkin Emirali and Marcus Markou. I'm certain that we're all looking forward to hearing their insights and experiences in the making of the films, as well as their more general thoughts on the wonder that is the seventh art, during the Q&A session that will follow the screenings. I'd like to finally thank my colleague, Dr. Marios Psaras, Cultural Counsellor at the Cyprus High Commission and Artistic Director of the Festival, as well as the dedicated team of designers and other creatives who assisted and for the great effort they put in every year in the production of the festival. I believe that the high quality of the programme and the success of the festival each year augurs well for the years to follow. With this, I would like to extend my best wishes for a most enjoyable evening to you all. Thank you.
Firstly, I would like to thank His Excellency for his kind words and for honoring us with his presence at this special evening, and your support is of significant value to us. We are indeed very happy to present to you the fourth Cyprus Short Film Day, one of the flagship events organized by the Cultural Section of the Cyprus High Commission and sponsored by the Cultural Services. What started as a humble initiative to bring Cypriot cinema and Cypriot filmmakers to London 4 years ago has now been established as the annual celebration of Cypriot cinema in the British capital. And every year we make sure to bring to you a high-quality film program and engaging speakers. This year we actually have the longest ever program, but don't be scared, you will enjoy it. 11 award-winning short films that have traveled widely across the globe. Our main program is divided in 2 screening sessions. In between, that is between 5:30 and 6, we will have a break, but also a parallel screening for those who want to stay in the room for a bit more, 20 minutes, I think. So it's the Run on Our project. You can find it in the beautifully designed program that you have in your hands, and all of the information that you may need for watching the films today. And as you can read in my brief text in the booklet, this year's program features a variety of genres and styles, all possibly linked together under the overarching theme of reconciliation. Reconciliation thought not only as a way to reach out to the other, but also as a way to come to terms with ourselves, the other within. I must also express my delight in the fact that more than half of the films being screened today are produced and or directed by women filmmakers and featuring female leads. We believe in diversity and inclusivity as a window to an enriched experience of the world around us. After all, if nothing else, film is grounded on the power of the visual to construct and deconstruct our stories, our identities, the spaces we live in, and those we've left behind. Please allow me to also thank a couple of people. First, my great team, my production assistant, Athina Hachistefanu. She's actually here. Actress Lorna V for featuring Kyriaki Messimeri in the amazing videos that will be guiding you through the day. And also the rest of the guys, Yorgos, Alexis, Katerina, Christina, Andrea, and of course the amazing team of the Mayfair Hotel, Emmanuel, Ivan, Daniele, Paggi, and Angie. I would finally like to thank my dear colleagues and collaborators in Cyprus, Dr. Elena Christodoulidou, Senior Officer for the Arts and Head of Film in Cyprus, Alexia Reuter and Joachim Milonas, Artistic Directors of the International Short Film Festival of Cyprus, with whom we collaborate to make the program. And stay, of course, with us for the Q&A. We have 5 filmmakers today with us, as His Excellency has already said. And of course, stay tuned for what is coming in 2020. We'll be celebrating our 5th anniversary with an expanded program of events, and hopefully we'll also be traveling outside London, perhaps even outside the UK. We'll see. We've got a lot of plans in place for the future, but at the moment I can only ask you to sit back, relax, and enjoy. Thank you.
Παρακαλώ. Δύο πίτες. Δεν είναι ώρα για διάλειμμα.
Είναι εδώ. Περιμένει.
Πες του μην ξεράσει να σε πάρει το διάλειμμα.
Έλα απ' την άλλη.
Δεν μπορώ. Πρέπει να πάω να τις φτιάξω τα χαρτιά.
Είπες θα πάμε σήμερα.
Διώξαν από εκεί που μένει. Δεν έχει που να πάει.
Σκέφτομαι να βάλουμε ένα διπλό καναπέ εδώ.
I lost family.
Εσύ δεν ήσουν αγέννητος. Δεν τους έξερες. Εγώ έχασα το γιο μου! Έχασα το γιο μου. You see that flag, Ray?
What?
Designed by a Turkish Cypriot for all of us.
No, it's Greek Cypriot.
Αχ, αγόρι μου, don't you know anything, Ray?
What do you want from me? Don't come here anymore. No tapping on the window. No agori mu this, agori mu that. I'm not your boy. Just leave me alone, all right?
Το βιβλίο έχει κάποια πολλά ωραία διδάγματα μέσα. Το βιβλίο έτσι μ' αρέσει να το ράνω. Για παράδειγμα, λαλεί και φιλοτιμήστε, ησυχάζει και πράσιν τα ίδια. Έλα πράσιν. Καλό θα ήταν να ζείτε ήσυχα και να μην ανακατώνεστε μες στις δουλειές των άλλων. Το δίδαγμα περιγράφει μια από τις πιο όμορφες ιδέες του χριστιανισμού. Προωθεί την καλή τάξη, την ευτυχία μέσα στην κοινωνία. Θέλει να αποτρέψει την ασέβεια και την αδιακρισία ορισμένων στις υποθέσεις των άλλων.
Ούψ, έκαμε στα θάλασσα.
Sorry, do we know each other? So what exactly is your problem?
Are you done?
Hi, Alistair. I'm Samir.
You had an office with, is it green curtains?
I'm really sorry. I don't remember.
Don't remember you.
For the artistic director who made
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You may go now. A big round of applause for the activity made us such an enormous thing. Thank you very much. Now it's time for the filmmakers. I would like to call on stage Myrsini Aristidou, director of ARIA. Where is Myrsini? Okay. Alexandra Matheu, director of Grief. Is she here? Ah. Hello. Take a seat. Anthony Petru, director of The Sound. Alvin Emirali, director of Our Cyprus. And Marcus Marcu, director of Two Strangers Who Meet Five. And okay, the microphone is here. Now, I think it's been a wonderful day. I think you will agree with me, and I'm really so happy to have these great filmmakers with us. They are all award-winning filmmakers with big projects and big upcoming projects. So, first question is my question, sorry. So, first question is where you've drawn inspiration for the film that you have presented to our audience. This is Miss Siniaristidu. Okay, Alexandra?
What was the question?
The grief. How did the grief came up?
So this project was part of a residency. It was actually shot in Sicily, and this residency was sponsored by Kodak. So the plan was you applied with a script that had vaguely something to do with wine. So the prompt for the idea started with wine as a theme. We had 12 hours to shoot it. For me, the biggest incentive was a chance to shoot on film. As a filmmaker, it's such a luxury to be able to do that, and for me, it was the first. And yeah, this is how it began. So we had 12 hours to shoot it, 5 rolls of film. So basically, everything you've seen is all the material I had.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So the script was written by some professor at Brunel University, and he was looking for a director so the students could shadow professionals. But the sound was important to me because...
A little bit louder, please, and Ivan, if you can turn it up a bit.
The sound script was important to me, and I draw inspiration from something personal. I suffered from tinnitus in my ear, what I thought was tinnitus in my ear, because I used to be in a band, a bass player, and I used to stand by the bass speaker, and I used to go raving a lot in the noughties and 90s. And I thought that I had tinnitus, but I spoke to my mum about it. There was a sound in my ear that first of all started as a ringing, then it started sounding like a really heavy breathing, like someone was standing next to me 24/7 when I was sleeping at night. All I could hear was this. And then I spoke to my mum about it, and my mum, being a Cypriot mum that doesn't want to burden you with her problems, said, "Oh, I've had this since I was 35, and there's a small bone in your inner ear that lets in the sound. It moves and it lets in the sound waves, and it crystallised, and the same thing happened to me. Oh my God, why didn't you tell me, Mum? Oh, I didn't want to worry you with it." So she said I could have had an operation, but I decided not to. So I had this crazy noise, and it drove me at times to the point of not wanting to carry on. Like, it drove me crazy. But then luckily I went and saw a doctor, I had a scan, and I had an operation, and now I'm fine. And that's why the script and the sound related to me a lot. I felt the pain that this woman was going through, and also and then I started looking at mental health and the effects it would have on a young family, and that's how I drew the inspiration for the film.
Thank you.
So I wrote Our Cyprus based on having written a feature film set in 1920s Cyprus, based or inspired by some events that happened in Lulagina, the village that my family came from, a mixed village of Greek and Turkish-speaking Cypriots. And I wanted to kind of make a proof of concept for a film about a whole village in the 1920s, but not having the budget to go and make a big movie. The proof of concept was just 2 people. So I fairly much just distilled the story down to 2 people from each side of the divide. And I guess the reason for both stories, both the short film and the feature film, is trying to reconcile stories or fragments of stories I heard from my grandparents about their life in the mixed village, which reflected stories of the Greek Cypriot priest, which was my grandfather's friend. My grandmother was apprenticed to a Greek Cypriot seamstress. So all these stories of cultural intertwining, which I guess for me is trying to reconcile that with what happened between 63 and 74 and how we ended up with a divided island, despite the fact that for me these people share much more in common than what divides them. So I guess that's what I'm interested in and what I'm trying to explore with Cyprus.
Do you speak Greek?
No, not so.
How was it directing in a language that you don't speak?
Yeah, it was very exciting. I mean, essentially, my grandmother did, who's now passed, did the first translation for me because she was a fluent Cypriot Greek speaker. And then, because it was a short film, I fairly much learnt all of it during the translation process. And then I had some other people, one of my uncles also contributed to the translation. And then during the shoot, I had a script supervisor who just focused on the Cypriot Greek dialect, so I didn't have to worry about whether it was right or wrong. And it was, although I've never spoken the language, what's interesting is both sets of my grandparents, it was their first language in the house, despite being ostensibly Turkish-speaking Cypriots, which is exactly the point of the film, really, these strange constructs about what it is to be one thing or another thing, to have this identity or that identity. So although I didn't speak it, for me, when I hear like village Cypriot Greek, it reminds me of home because that's what I heard my grandparents speaking all the time. So even though I don't speak the language, on set I felt really comfortable hearing that language spoken. And indeed, I think Andy Lucas, I'm not sure, but I think it was your first time speaking your mother tongue on camera, wasn't it?
I can't remember.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, and as a consequence of that, we all bonded because it felt like a family film. But yeah, no, I don't speak the language.
I didn't know you didn't speak Greek. I could have said anything.
Well, there you go. I thought maybe you should know.
Great. He's preparing for the feature. Thank you very much.
For Two Strangers Who Meet 5 Times, it was just really just a response to Trump and Brexit. I had a friend who was sort of racially abused outside a tube station one day, and we were talking about it, and then I thought, what if this guy, we met again in an interview, and then I just played the what if. That was it. And I think...
But you're also touching on many different issues, very topical issues, not just racism, it's also homelessness, it's mental
homelessness
illness.
is a big thing that I'm passionate about. Being more aware of homelessness, and also that idea that any one of us is one step away from just falling off the edge, and I like the idea of playing with people's sympathies in the story. So I love the idea that you could hate this guy at the beginning, and by the end of it you could love him and feel sorry for him as well. So. But I think with stories generally, sometimes you just get lucky. You find a way into a story, and it tells itself quite easily. And I wrote that whole thing in just 3 hours, one Sunday afternoon, and I think you can spend years writing a script, I mean, I have spent years writing a script, and when you find a nice story that just seems to tell itself, it just tells itself.
Yeah. Mircini, I will just take the floor and tell us. It works, I think, a little bit similarly in the sense that you have a basic story, but you have managed in that story to throw in some really important and topical issues.
Yeah, I just say great film, great section. Yeah, so ARIA, I guess, deals with, it has many layers in many ways. I mean, beyond the father and daughter relationship, you also have the immigrant story and this effort, I guess, to create contact without necessarily speaking the same language. Yeah, so the film was shot in Athens. It was my thesis film for NYU, my master's. And yeah, I mean, the way the inspiration came, it was a bit strange. My best friend in New York, she's Chinese actually, and she was gonna go get her driving license in New York. And yeah, it was really funny. We were talking about it, and then I was like, oh, it's a great story. And her English was really bad, but you know, I loved hanging out with her, even though many times we couldn't communicate perfectly on many things. And yeah, and I find that people connect, you know, for many, many other reasons beyond language, beyond like verbal language at least. And people separate for many reasons beyond language as well.
Yes, that's true.
That's why there's such a divide between the father and the daughter in some way, without it being expressed verbally. Yeah.
I'm sure you've been asked this question a lot of times, but you're taking on the father-daughter relationship in Soma Lil, another film that we have actually screened, I think, in the second Cyprus short film day a couple of years ago. So is it going to be a trilogy, or are you switching off into something completely new?
My feature film does deal with that. I mean, it's a coming-of-age story again, and then there's a dad involved. In reality, the reason I do that, it's not necessarily because I want to focus on the father and daughter bond, but it's because I kind of like using children as catalysts to the stories I want to tell, which have many layers. And usually with the innocence of kids, you can kind of bring up, I mean, you can explore many things that actually stay unexplored until adulthood, and eventually create more problems in relationships.
Yeah, to link us back to our lost innocence in a way.
In some way, yeah.
In a romantic way. Yeah. Do you have any questions from the audience? Yes. Mrs. Kalispera, please.
Yes,
we have a microphone.
About the grief, it was wonderful, but you mentioned that it was done in 2 hours or something? Is that
Not
what you
two,
said?
no, 12.
12 hours,
Yeah.
but still. I'm just wondering, I mean, all these films were great, every single. Do they cost a lot of money?
A very good question. Yes, let's talk about money. I think that's a big struggle of independent filmmakers. Yes, I'll let you speak.
I think my fellow panelists will agree the biggest struggle we face is finding the money. Sadly, film is a very expensive art form to engage in. I mean, sometimes I wish I were, I don't know, a theater director, not that making theater is any easier, but if you really need to tell your story, you could even do it in your living room and invite some people, and then you have a stage. Whereas with film, it's not as simple. Even if you grab your iPhone to make a film, it will still cost money. In my case, it was a zero-budget film for any standards, or whatever costs there were. It was just personal money, but it wasn't like a proper budget.
Can you explain what proper budget means, and in the sense that people who have to be paid, but they never get paid actually, in that sense?
Well, I can talk. 2 weeks after I wrapped my first short film, that I'm pleased to say happened with a sort of proper budget. Thank you, Cyprus government, for funding it. We got awarded 30,000, which sounds like a lot. It's not, to be honest. You want to be able to...
You're talking about Anorak?
No, a film I just finished. It's called The Summer Place. Yeah,
a new one.
We just wrapped it 2 weeks ago, but it was the first chance I had to make a properly budgeted film. But you know, it sounds a lot to somebody who is not in film, but you want to be able to pay your crew properly. Equipment costs a lot of money, locations cost a lot of money, post-production costs a lot of money, and it really adds up. But ultimately, I think no matter where you are in the film business, you still have to rely on the kindness of many people, friends and family included, to get it done. Because most of the times it's a labor of love. I don't know what you guys think.
Marcus, I would like to ask you about coming from a big, like, can I say blockbuster?
No, it wasn't. It was.
And Sons.
It was an
indie.
It was an indie film, and yeah, I mean that Papadopoulos and Sons was made for under $1 million, which is still classed as extremely low budget by the industry. So what we're saying here is it is expensive, super expensive, but even a short film, £30,000, you want to pay people. You want to pay people. You want a good, happy set. You want to feed them. You want to pay them. And if you can make your film for no money, you're effectively doing it with friends, and you're collaborating with friends who are taking all their time together, and you're using your time. But my plan has always been, like a true Cypriot, to have 2 or 3 jobs at once. So, and I've taken on board that heritage of Cypriots having 2 jobs, and I run a business that's quite successful, and that frees me to be an independent filmmaker. And that was always my plan from the beginning, which was to make lots of money with one hand, and then expend it all in the other. And I see it long enough to go from one hand to the next. And but it is an expensive business, and what you're paying is people. You know, a boom operator will be £250 a day, £300 a day. You know, that's just the guy that holds the microphone. You know, and you can ask people to work for free, but at some point you have to find the money and pay them.
Yes, definitely. Okay.
But this is why we have tax breaks, and why we have wealthy investors as well, who are like the modern day patrons of the arts, and we have governments as well who will invest in the culture of their own country. So all of these things are very important.
Great. As for budget, I know that some of you, if not all of you, are in the process of actually growing some funds to fund your feature films. Alkin, would you like to tell us in what adventures do you find yourself in that direction?
Yeah, well, it's always interesting trying to raise money. I work with a producer who is primarily responsible for that side of things, obviously with my inputs. But off the back of making our Cyprus and the submission of the feature script for Goats and Sheep, we managed to secure Creative Europe funding, kind of single project development funding, which was €30,000 or something, which was great. I think the money is less important than the fact that people go, oh, who are those guys? They got money from Creative Europe. That's quite tricky. We don't even know how we got the money, but I guess the script and the short film did its job, and we've made the short film with that particular fund in mind. it's a film that's going to be based in Cyprus. I understand there's very little money in the Cypriot Film Fund right now, given the European debt crisis. So that kind of stops us a little bit. We're waiting for the DFI making a new appointment for someone for the International Fund, and we've kind of been told that we're the first in the queue to meet whoever that appointment is, and that this is the kind of film that they should be supporting. But whenever you've got external arbiters involved in the process, people that make decisions about the films that should or shouldn't be made, there's no guarantees. There just isn't. So I think being a filmmaker is like being a speculative investor. You're kind of risking everything on the hope that your film should kind of cross over. But yeah, it's not for the faint-hearted. Being a filmmaker, it's like an expensive hobby when it's bad, and when it's good, you might get paid a little something. But you have to have another job until you make that breakthrough film. And whether a film breaks through or not is actually not down to the quality of the film. It's down to whether you cut the right distribution deal and the distributors have enough faith in your film to put some money behind it to create enough visibility for that film to gross some money. I'm working on another feature film which hopefully will be easier to fund. It's British based, about the first British black cycling champion, and it's a biopic. That one is attracting lots of interest, and I think money will be easier for that project. But my real passion project is to make goats and sheep. It's really important to me.
Well, we look forward to it.
Well, mashallah.
Any questions? Yes, lady.
Hi, my name's Helen. Thank you very much for a really entertaining afternoon, each of you. And you drew a tear as well, so thanks for that. I'd like to know, each of his film was quite dark, which is great, because you obviously stirred up lots of emotions and everything else, but why is that? Because they were all quite dark in their own way.
Actually, the High Commissioner asked me the same thing. Is there any comedy in the program? But yes, I'm not going to tell you what I responded to him. I want to hear you guys. Yes.
I know I said the theme that prompted the film is wine, but fundamentally it also stems from my deep existential anguish, and I think the idea of grief and exploring how loss can affect the ones left behind is an area thematically that really attracts me. However, I would maybe disagree that the film's core is sad, because beyond the idea of the grief, it's also a film about the relationship between a mother and a daughter. And yes, there is the loss of the death of the father, and it's very hard. But it's also a reaffirmation that these two women can maybe rekindle a lost relationship and maybe start over. And I tried to give that in a bittersweet tone, or at least I hope.
Yes, definitely. I'm sure a very witty dialogue.
But darkness does tend to attract me all the way. I think film can explore that in many meaningful ways, and hopefully by the end of the experience you might see light at the end of the tunnel, hopefully.
Anthony?
I personally prefer darker stories and films. I like going to cinema and watching films that make me feel better about my own life. Not that my life's bad, but that's why I don't like going to see. I see comedies maybe once a month, but I prefer watching dark films. I don't want to see a prince going off with a princess because that's not reality. So I like dark films.
Do we live in dark times?
We do. Yeah, we do.
Because of that.
I mean, look at the world politically and what's happening. So, yes.
Is there a way
you'll
to
probably feel the same.
is there a way to tell these stories in a not in a comedy-coded way, but is there a way?
There was a lot of comedy. There was a lot of laughter today. There was some.
There was actually, yes, a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, your film especially. I was laughing a lot. Yes, it's good.
I mean, for me, Cyprus is not a dark film, so I struggle to answer the question. Who asked the question? Sorry. Maybe you could tell me why you thought. I mean, I didn't think Cyprus was dark, but I'd be interested to know.
It's all very thought-provoking, all of that. But also, I wonder because we're Cypriot, most of us. I personally think we feel things quite strongly. Obviously got friends from all walks of life, and they're English and they're Irish and they're. But as Cypriots or Mediterraneans or whatever you want to call us, we feel things, I think, deeper. Well, I certainly do anyway. And it was all, I didn't watch any of them and come away thinking, great, I want to go, dancing and skipping through a field. Dark was probably the wrong word, but it was thought-provoking, and as I say, none of them made me think, great, I feel great, I'm going to walk out of here and we're walking on air, and I take on board what you say, it's reality and it's real life and everything else, but and it wasn't a criticism.
Oh, no, I just wanted to
I mean, they were all brilliant, and your film actually made me cry. I mean, it actually lumped in my throat, I understood where you were coming from, so it wasn't a criticism. I enjoyed each and every one of them, so thank you.
I think film is best as an emotional medium rather than an intellectual one. So I think most of us up here are trying to press emotional buttons to tell our stories more effectively. So that's, for me, if a story is worth telling, it needs to have some kind of a point. And the point is best when it's not intellectualised, but expressed as some kind of emotional form. So that's what I try and do.
Yeah, I think that's all been answered.
Any other question from the audience?
Should I say something or no?
Oh, sorry.
About my darkness?
Yes. Please, tell us about your darkness.
I really do believe that in today's world it's harder to maintain happiness than to sink into darkness, especially as an artist. And I think, I guess that's why we do try to push buttons and deal with emotions that are not exposed all the time. With people try to keep them inside.
It's actually very hard as talking as a programmer now to actually find comedies to put in short film programs. It's very, I don't know, maybe that's an idea for you guys, because it might get more easily programmed in a film festival. Because I was actually discussing this with other film programmers from other film festivals recently, actually. And yes, from a film programming aspect, yes, we are always looking for at least a couple of comedies, to ease out the program. Sorry?
It's harder to direct a good comedy.
Do you think so?
If you think all the best comedies that you can think of, the very few, I think.
Yeah, it's a difficult genre, of course. Yes, you have a question there.
Thank you. Is there anything in your films which have been really inspired by another filmmaker? Is there a line of dialogue, a camera shot, anything that I don't want to say stole because, but anything that's really inspired you by another filmmaker that you admire, which you've gone, oh yeah, I'll use that for this bit? Have you seen it?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I really love Jacques Audiard's work. I don't know if you are aware of him. He's a French filmmaker, and I don't know if I necessarily like took any of his shots, but there's really the vibe and the movement of the camera and and the colors. I think there's an influence in that some way.
I mean, this is a constant on set and in pre-production, and when you're talking with your director of photography and when you're talking with your actors, it's a constant conversation of references. So, you know, with the DOP on Two Strangers, the first time I was working with him, you're sending each other links constantly. So I sent in the classic scene in On the Waterfront where Brando where the glove is dropped and Brando starts improvising with the glove, and I'm explaining to him, you know, why Kazan is so great, and he's sending me links, and I think that is a constant conversation that you have with all the various creative people in your project. It's a never-ending discussion. I've never been on a film set when Wes Anderson has not been referenced. At some point, someone says, when are we going to do our Wes Anderson shot? You know, and so I think it's, yeah, we are watching sort of, like by osmosis, we are taking on ideas and filtering them through, and often subconsciously, but we are all part of the same soup, I think. We're all part of the same creative soup. And I think that's the fun of filmmaking, actually, is when you are having those conversations. They're the most interesting conversations, for sure.
Yeah, there's several. So the little montage where he's knocking on the window and we see Mehmed Ali in the reflection. There was a shot in Schindler's List, and I just loved that reflection shot. I thought it was very poignant for where he was in terms of trying to build this relationship. It was kind of a shadow in the other guy's life, or a reflection in the other guy's life. Also, you know, even down to the choices of the lenses we chose and the way we framed Mehmed Ali, who's probably, you know, well, he's in so many of the shots, probably 99% of the film. You know, we both myself and the director of photography were crazy about how Roger Deakins frames faces completely front on to create that relationship with the audience, very direct and intimate relationship with the audience. And so we knew that the film was going to be about, you know, him almost looking down the barrel of the lens for most of the film. So when he falls, the camera falls. And then the shot where he's being told, you know, I'm not your son, by Andreas. Well, you know, that's a snorri cam shot, you know, the actor's in a harness and the camera's attached to him. And I knew that from Scorsese, who uses that at particularly fraught psychological moments of time in the protagonist's, you know, arc. And for me, it was perfect because the whole film was about Mehmed Ali's relationship with the audience and by proxy his relationship, with the camera and then by proxy with the audience. And so to actually attach the camera at that point, so his movements were intimately connected to the movements of the camera, was just right for the most fraught part of his journey. So yeah, lots of references.
I'm constantly looking at other people's films, but with the sound, I think for me, I based the film around the location. So I spent a week camping at the farm, and I tried to understand where the light was naturally, because we hardly lit it. I think we lit one scene. So I spent time on the farm, understood where the light was coming in, and also the sounds around the farm. So for that film, I'm always constantly inspired by the filmmakers, and if I'm there, I'll say I might be reminded of another shot, but with the sound, it was more about the surroundings and the location, and the atmosphere.
So for me, it was a lot easier upon arriving to Sicily. Surprise, surprise, you have 12 hours to shoot your film. Like, okay, so I have to be a bit smart about this. So my influence was Sofia Coppola. So I just scraped out more than 2/3 of my shot list and decided to go for static, long takes where all the action unfolds in front of you. She's a filmmaker I love anyway, but in this particular occasion, it was also a necessity choice. So I could just get the film done.
Great. Thank you. I'm afraid we need to wrap up here. Thank you, guys. Thank you, audience, for a lovely questions.
So we have just finished, watching all these 11 short films, and
Yes.
among them it was Mr. Marcos Marcus.
Yes, hello.
Hello, how are you?
Είμαι καλά.
I like that. I like that, yes. Stick to English, yes. So, this...
Τα ελληνικά μου δεν είναι σπουδαία. Καταλαβαίνω, αλλά είναι τη γλώσσα του σπίτι.
Ναι, it's good enough to listen to AGR. You can understand AGR.
Εντάξει, I understand that.
So, after Papadopoulos The Sons,
yes,
it came this short film or other short films as well?
I made this short film a couple of years ago. But it came very quickly, because a short film you can do very quickly. I'd spent a couple of years writing a feature film script and trying to find actors for it and trying to raise the money, and it's a very long process. So whilst waiting, I'd made a short film to keep me active and busy and have fun and work with actors and find new collaborators.
So, as far as a new feature film,
yes, I've got two feature films. One is which is based on this short film. It's called Ali's English. It's a Syrian refugee story set in Yorkshire. And it's a story of friendship that has arisen from conflict, like this short film. And I'm in the process now of attaching some wonderful actors. I can't name the names yet, but we've got some wonderful actors already attached.
Hollywood.
No, I would
European.
Independent British film, lowish budget. So that's what I'm working on currently. And then I made another short film, which I finished only a couple of weeks ago, which is quite experimental and a lot of fun. And we're now starting the festival with that. And there's also the Papadopoulos musical. We're doing the workshop.
This is going to find out more about this.
Well, I've been working with a composer, Gibreos John Themis, who's well known in the community, and about 5 years, we met in the studio of the Papadopoulos score. He was playing the bouzouki, and he said to me, Marcus, one day we're going to do the musical. That's one of the first things he said to me when he met me, and I laughed. And 5 years later, I've written the lyrics. John's written the music. I've done the book, and we're doing a workshop at the end of November with some wonderful performers. And it's for the industry. This is how you do a musical. You put it on for the industry. If it's got legs, if people think it's gonna work. It's going to work, then you go to the next stage, which might be another showcase, etc. Musicals take years to get going. They're a lot of work. They're a lot of fun, but they take a long time. They take years.
Yeah. So when is your next feature film coming out?
Well, I've got to make it. So I'm hoping to make it next summer. Fingers crossed.
Okay, so you are doing the casting very soon?
We've attached some really good actors, but we now are talking to sales agents, and they would I'm doing it differently this time. I'm going more of a conventional route, which is attach talent, find a good sales agent, go to the film markets, that route, which it's still independent.
Okay. Do you remember who has the smallest part in your Papadopoulos' son film?
It wasn't small. It's pretty big. You're still remembered fondly.
Yeah, I know that. I know. Become famous with that.
Have you?
Yes.
Do people still recognise you?
Yes. In a street or in a train.
Aren't you glad you did it? You see?
Yes.
You're very happy.
I'm very happy to be
good.
here.
I'm glad that worked out.
Marco, thank you very much.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you.
And I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I have with me Mr. Antonis Petru, who, is just his short film, Sound, and it's brilliant work. Congratulations, Antoni.
Thank you.
So give me a few more details about yourself.
So I went back to university when I was 30 and studied art, and then my last year I made a film, and I fell in love with. I've been an artist, but I fell in love with filmmaking, and then I wrote this elaborate script that I spent 3 years shooting. 100 location, 100 actors. Dimitri Andreas was in it, and I never finished it. But it was like me doing my masters in film, and then I got the even bigger film bug. I then thought, you know what, I need to come up with an idea to make a film which is in one location and about an important subject matter, and that I could raise the money for and make independently. And I found a story about a racially motivated murder that happened at Feltham Young Offenders Institute. And I made a film called We Are Monster. It's a feature film that was on Netflix, had a theatrical release in the UK and the US. And then, because I spent 2 years trying to make that film, I had to go and get a proper job. And it wasn't until 2 years after that I then made The Sound, the short film. And now I'm trying to develop my next feature, and I've just started shooting my next short, which is called A Girl. And I've got another short film that I want to make in the spring, and it's just constantly trying to make.
About The Sound, you won a few awards. Tell us about that.
The Sound looks at the effects of mental health on a very young family, especially looks on the effects it has on the daughter of the mother who's going through some mental health issues. It's set on a farm, a rural farm, and the daughter is convinced that the sound that her mother is hearing does exist, and it's not just in her brain, in her mind, and she's out to prove everyone wrong. And you kind of get the feeling of what the girl's going through, and it's that story.
How many festivals you took part?
The Sound has got into maybe 50 odd festivals worldwide, and it's won around 10 around the world. Yeah, it's won around 10 around the world awards. Yeah.
Okay, tell us about your feature film.
The one
you're preparing now.
It's a film called Transit, and it's about a transgender girl living in Lebanon, and it's about she wants to escape Lebanon and an imprisoned life with her family, and escape Lebanon via Cyprus, Larnaca International Airport, to Berlin. And it looks at the family life of someone who's transgender in Lebanon, and in Cyprus it looks at the legal side of her, when she arrives at the airport, and her passport, and then once she gets to Berlin, it looks at the social elements of what she has to go through.
You write in the script as well?
Yes, I'm writing the script. Yeah.
And is this a true story, or you get the ideas from?
It is based around an experience of someone that I've come in contact with, that I know. But personal in terms of discrimination, I understand on a personal level, how someone would, how it feels to go through those kind of pains. Yes.
You have to shoot it in Lebanon, Cyprus, and where else?
Berlin or UK. It depends. Whoever funds me. I'm trying. Please give me some money.
Talking about funding, yes. Where you get your funding from?
My first feature was all privately funded, but it was a very, very micro, low budget film shot in a couple of locations, not a lot of money. The sound was funded by Brunel University, but again, very low budget. The short film that I'm shooting at the moment has zero budget, so there's no money. It's just friends and favors, and then I'm trying to raise the money for my next short film, but I'm borrowing and not stealing, but maybe, who knows.
Okay, I wish you all the best, and I wish you find the money and carry on.
I will get there.
We'll see you here next year, Mike.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. Thanks. See you. Bye-bye.
Έχουμε μαζί μας λοιπόν τον Dr. Μάριο Ψαρά, ο διοργανωτής της όλης υπόθεσης της απόψινής εκδήλωσης. Μια καταπληκτική εκδήλωση, Dr. Μάριο Ψαρά.
Το απόλαυσες?
Το απόλαυσα. Ήταν ένα ταξίδι...
Θα σου κάνω εγώ συνέντευξη.
Ναι. Ήταν ένα ταξίδι το οποίο θα μπορούσε να το κάνεις μέσα σε πολύ μεγάλο χρονικό διάστημα, εάν ήθελες να προχωρήσεις κάποιες ταινίες, όμως το απόψινό ήταν ένα ταξίδι μέσα σε 4 ώρες, το οποίο μας πήρε σε πολλά μέρη, σε πολλούς ήχους, σε πολλές εικόνες, σε πολλές ερμηνείες, σε πολλά πράγματα τα οποία μας έδωσαν έτσι μια δύναμη να πιστεύουμε ότι μπορούν να γίνουν πράγματα μέσω κινηματογράφου, και συγχαρητήρια και σε σένα και στους υπόλοιπους διοργανώτες.
Βεβαίως. Εντάξει, με κάλυψες.
Όχι, θέλω να σε ρωτήσω πώς αισθάνεσαι που και σήμερα έγινε αυτή η εκδήλωση, πραγματοποιήθηκε με επιτυχία.
Καταρχάς είμαι πάρα πολύ χαρούμενος, γιατί είχαμε την τιμή να έχουμε μαζί μας τον ύπατο αρμοστή της Κύπρου. Είχαμε την τιμή να έχουμε full house, πάρα πολύ κόσμο. Μερικοί φίλοι καθόντων στα σκαλιά, και όλοι το απόλαυσαν. Όλοι απόλαυσαν τόσο το πρόγραμμα με τις διάφορες ταινίες, αλλά και την όλη βραδιά, την όλη διοργάνωση, και νομίζω αυτό είναι το καλύτερο payoff για έναν άνθρωπο που προσπαθεί να προωθήσει όσο γίνεται τον κυπριακό κινηματογράφο στο Λονδίνο και γενικά στο Ηνωμένο Βασίλειο. Και εγώ πιστεύω ότι κάθε χρόνο γινόμαστε καλύτεροι, κάθε χρόνο οι ταινίες μας έχουν ακόμα υψηλότερη ποιότητα, και νομίζω αυτά που σου είχα πει στη μεταξύ μας συνέντευξη πριν μια εβδομάδα, νομίζω κατάλαβες για τι πράγμα μίλαγα. Είμαι τόσο χαρούμενος που το κοινό απόλαυσε τις ταινίες, και έχουμε πάρα πολλά σχέδια για το τι θα κάνουμε στο 2020, που θα είναι τα πρώτα μας 5 χρόνια. Θα έχουμε την επέτειο, την 5η επέτειο, και σκοπεύουμε να το ανοίξουμε λίγο το φεστιβάλ, να το κάνουμε έτσι λίγο πιο μεγάλο, να το ταξιδέψουμε εκτός Λονδίνου. Θα δούμε τι θα πει και η Κύπρος, που ευτυχώς μας στηρίζει πάντοτε, και ελπίζουμε να τα καταφέρουμε.
Ωραία. Πολύ πιθανό δηλαδή να είναι και διήμερο.
Πιθανόν. Ναι.
Και πολύ πιθανόν να έχουν την ευκαιρία και άνθρωποι οι οποίοι θέλουν να ενταχθούν σε αυτό το χώρο, να έχουν τη δυνατότητα να μαζευτούν κάπου, να γίνει μια διάλεξη και να κάνουν ερωτήσεις ή να πάρουν κάποιες...
Ακριβώς. Αυτός είναι ο στόχος μας, να προσπαθήσουμε να έχουμε και κάποιες παράλληλες δραστηριότητες εκτός από τις προβολές. Δηλαδή, σίγουρα το πρόγραμμα θα επικεντρωθεί στην προβολή. Παρ' όλα αυτά, ιδανικά, θα θέλαμε να εντάξουμε του χρόνου και κάποιες παράλληλες δραστηριότητες που ενδεχομένως να αφορούν κάποιο workshop ή κάποιο masterclass. Ναι, είναι μερικές από τις ιδέες που έχουμε για του χρόνου.
Μάλιστα. Εάν κάποιος που μας παρακολουθεί τώρα ενδιαφέρεται και θέλει να εντάξει το film, ένα short film που έχει κάνει ή θα κάνει στην περίπτωση της επόμενης διοργάνωσης, ποιες είναι οι εισηγήσεις και ποιες είναι οι συμβουλές και τι είναι αυτό που πρέπει να προσέξει?
Καταρχάς, το πιο σημαντικό απ' όλα που πρέπει να πούμε είναι ότι από το 2020 όλες οι ταινίες οι οποίες θα προβάλλονται στο Cyprus Short Film Day θα πρέπει πρώτα να έχουν προβληθεί, να έχουν εξασφαλίσει το εισιτήριο για το International Short Film Festival of Cyprus. Οπότε αυτός είναι ο βασικός κανονισμός. Τώρα, για να μπορέσουν να εξασφαλίσουν το εισιτήριο για το ISFFC, τότε νομίζω κάποιος που έχει σήμερα έρθει εδώ θα έχει καταλάβει το επίπεδο παραγωγής των ταινιών, δηλαδή μιλάμε για πολύ υψηλό επίπεδο παραγωγής. Εννοείται ότι πρέπει για να είναι eligible να υπάρχει κάποια σχέση με την Κύπρο, να υπάρχουν Κύπριοι δημιουργοί και φυσικά από εκεί και πέρα είναι και θεματολογίας. Κατά πόσον μια ταινία καταφέρνει να αγγίξει αυτούς που επιλέγουν και αυτούς που προγράμματα. Και ένα tip που είχαμε δώσει νομίζω στο Q&A, δεν ξέρω αν το είχες πιάσει ή αν το είχε πιάσει το κοινό, είναι ότι comedy is the new black. Δηλαδή ψάχνουμε να βάλουμε κομμωδίες, αλλά όπως είπανε και από το κοινό αλλά και οι σκηνοθέτες μας, η κομμωδία είναι ίσως ένα από τα δυσκολότερα είδη για να το πετύχεις και να είναι πραγματικά successful.
Πολύ ωραία. Σε υπερευχαριστούμε, Μάρη μου. Να είσαι καλά.
Ευχαριστώ.
Κάθε επιτυχία εύχομαι και στο μέλλον.
Εγώ σας ευχαριστώ που είστε πάντα κοντά μας και πάντα μας στηρίζετε.